Hello guys, this is Lance from Switzerland, enjoying a meal from McDonald's and drinking some baby tea. See what I did there? Well, whatever. I'm going to show you in this tutorial today some basic metal crafting, what's needed for that, what's fuel, what are the different furnaces, and how to craft weapons and armor and ammunition. Alright, when you are digging down in your fortress and you suddenly hit some layers that contain ores, which is not always the case, because you can completely land in an embark zone where you don't have any ores at all, but I was lucky to have some, like here for instance, this red stuff. This is hematite, if I am correct. Yes, it is. And hematite is one of the ores that can be processed into iron, as well with magnetite and limonite. I'm going to show you the example of iron, how you can make bars and those bars into other useful stuff. This process works exactly the same as it would work with copper, for instance, or other basic minerals where you just have to melt the ore, like platinum and so forth. There are materials like steel that you cannot find in their state, but you have to process iron to pig iron, and then from pig iron to steel. I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to walk you through the basic production of iron. Alright, what you need first is a layout for your workshops that I'm going to show you right now, that provides everything that your metal crafters and your smelters might need. In the first step, what you want to do is, when you find iron, well, actually the first step is to find iron, and the second step is, if you encounter some iron, you have to smelt it. To smelt this stuff, you need fuel. Any fuel will do. There are several types, charcoal, bituminous coal, and so forth. But the easiest way to do that is to get some coal, which is made out of wood, and transform that coal into charcoal, which is used as fuel in a smelter to melt that tasty ore into bars. This is the first step that you got to do. So what I did here is, you can see I designated a stockpile area here with different ores. In here there is a galena ore, which is capable of bringing out lead bars, which are very heavy, and a 20% chance of silver bars. You can read this all up in the DF wiki. And here on the left side we have hematite. This is a stockpile full of hematite, and depending on what I choose, the metalsmith or the smelter in that case has to go down in the respective area and has to grab the stuff. So this is the first stuff. That's what you need first. And then the second thing is, I have here a stockpile which is currently empty, where I will put in my charcoal. So this charcoal needs to be produced, and I can produce that in a wood furnace, which is we are now one level above, which is here. You can see that it's a wood furnace, and you can build a wood furnace by pressing B for building, then go down the list or press E for furnaces. Alright, hit enter, and then you see different furnaces. You see wood furnace, smelter, glass furnace, kiln, a magma smelter, a magma glass furnace, magma kiln. If you don't see these three options here, the magma kind of furnaces, then you didn't yet discover any magma. Simple as that. They show up as soon as you encounter some magma. Before, they will just not show up. They will not be there. There are different kinds. There are the wood furnace. The wood furnace is what we are looking for. It turns logs into charcoal. It can also produce ash, which is needed for soap and other stuff, which we don't need right now. But it is mainly our producer for the fuel. We also have a smelter. The smelter is responsible for melting the actual iron, and the smelter will need the charcoal that is produced in the wood furnace to power it enough so it can smelt the ore that is just one level below. The glass furnace is for producing glass, and the kiln is for some other crafty stuff which does not matter right now. The magma versions of these, they're a little bit special. They are powered by magma. You can build them over magma, and they will not require any fuel. And this is quite handy because you will notice that the constant burning of wood is rather annoying. You always have to buy wood. You always have to plant trees and all that stuff. It's a little bit annoying. Magma smelters are quite awesome for that because they don't need any fuel, with a few exceptions, but they're a great thing, but I will not cover them right now. They work basically the same way as the ones that I will show you right now. Okay, we are going to the wood furnace first, and we hit enter, and then we would build it. I have one here already, and I'm going into, after it's built, I'm going into Q, and I set a new task for my wood furnace, which is A for new task, and then I tell him to make charcoal. I usually put this on repeat, so he does quite a few of them. Afterwards, what's happening is he's going to produce them, and I assigned here a stockpile, which you can see with a Q and S. You can change the settings to that. You're seeing the stockpile is set to only take bars and blocks, and only some bars other material. I'm only accepting coal here. The reason for this is I want only coal in this area, so I see in one glimpse whether there is a shortage of coal or not. Alright, we're going to wait until he creates some, and then he will put them here. As soon as there is coal here, we can use the coal to melt the hematite in a smelter to iron. This is exactly the same process for any other ore, except for steel and pig iron. And I'm going up one level, and I would build right now. You can see here, there is the charcoal. So we have fuel, we have the ore. I'm going to build right now a workshop, which is called B for building, W for workshop. No, that's wrong. Wait, sorry. This is B for building, E for furnace, and then a smelter. I'm going to build a smelter, and afterwards it's built. This is a smelter. Here you can see it. I'm going to tell the smelter what to do. I press A for add new task, and then I see some of the options are great. This is really great because it's going to show you what you can do based on your stockpiles right now. If you don't have any limonite, which is in my case the case basically, I cannot smelt limonite, and therefore I don't get any iron out of limonite because I just don't have any, but I do have hematite ore. So I can go down and tell him to smelt hematite ore. I'm going to put him on repeat, and what's happening afterwards is he's going to take one charcoal and one ore of hematite, and he's going to smelt that into some nice bars. You're going to see that as soon as he's done. He's doing it right now. What I did also is I set up a stockpile area for all the bars that are coming out. These are here. Okay, so they are a little bit different. They look the same, but these are not. This is not charcoal. This is just bars. You can see it right here. It's lead bars. We have iron. We have silver. I have steel bars. I have quite some stuff here. This is basically the output of your smelter. If your options here are red, although you have all the ores, you lack fuel in one or other way. So you either don't have charcoal, you don't have bituminous coal. Anyway, you're just lacking something. All right. So if it's red, you need to get your fuel, or you need to get the ore to an accessible point for the workshop. Okay. So that's the second step. Afterwards, I can build another workshop, which is the last in the line. It's called a B for building, W for workshop, and then the metalsmith forge, which is this one and this one. I built two, so I can queue more tasks if they differ, and I don't want to put on repeat. They need an anvil as a part of the building. But other than that, they are built exactly the same way. And what they do is I can add a new task, and then I can scroll through the list here: weapons and ammunition, armor, furniture, siege equipment, and so forth. What I do when I start to build a military up is I start to craft weapons in terms of like, I don't know, I want to create a squad of 6 people, so I start to create weapons out of the metal that I want. Iron is good for a start. Copper is good as well. You shouldn't use silver, it depends on the weapon, but normally you just use copper or iron to start off because they're really good. And I have iron, so I'm using iron here, and then I can choose between the different weapons. You should read up on the Dwarf Fortress wiki, because some metals are not good for some weapons. For instance, a light metal is not really preferable for a warhammer, and like platinum is very heavy, which is brilliant for a warhammer, but it's not really good for a sword, because it cannot keep the edges that it has, so it's not going to be very sharp for long. So I'm going to queue like 6 swords, so I have weapons afterwards that they can equip first. And then the next thing that I do is I go to armor, I go to iron, and I'm using an iron shield. Shields are very handy for the obvious reasons, and they also have another bonus against dragons. I think they are the only, it's basically the only stuff that can keep flames away from soldiers when a dragon is shooting his fire breath at them. So this is a great thing. You should get some shields as well. And the other stuff is pretty straightforward: mail shirt, breastplate, leggings, greaves, cap, helm, gauntlet. What's interesting though is you can wear a breastplate over a mail shirt. That is perfectly possible, so always make sure that you produce both, because the mail shirt is protecting the arms while the breastplate isn't. This is very important to note, because you don't have anything else to protect your arms than your mail shirt. So create mail shirts in the same amount that you create breastplates, so you have a full stack of armor for your dwarfs afterwards. You can also create furniture in this menu, which is actually very interesting. There is something that you will notice once you're a little bit deeper in the game, that your stuff will clutter up. I have a lot of stuff in these stockpiles, but I have stored them in bins. Bins are a little bit different from barrels, because those bins, they can store crafts, for instance. I have here like 20 crafts running around, and if we are going to look now in the stockpile here, I can go over here, and you see I have here finished goods bin made out of lead. I take lead because I need iron for the weapons foremost, and lead is just, it's not very valuable, so I just make bins out of it. If I look into these bins, they have a lot of stuff in there. You can see that. There's a lot of stuff in there, and that saves me, on the other hand, a lot of stuff here in my stockpiles. I'm going to show you real quick how you can manage your stockpiles with that. If you go to queue and go over a stockpile, you can see here you have some, before you enter the settings, you can also define how many bins are placed on the stockpile or are allowed. In some stockpiles it does not make really sense to place bins there because, well, I don't know, I don't have that much ammo or armor or whatever lying around, so I don't need that many. So if you press capital C, you can basically jump down to 0, or press capital V to jump to the maximum, which is the fields that are here in the stockpile, which is in this case 121. I set that sometimes just, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 sometimes, I don't know. It just depends on the situation. But they're a great thing because they make it very easy. You only have to tell afterwards, like in trading agreements, you only have to say, okay guys, get me this bin with all the contents in upwards. That makes it much easier to select the stuff. It's a great way to keep your stuff a little bit organized. All right, so how you create them is you go to your metalsmith, you make A for add a new task, you go to furniture, you pick the metal that you want to be made out. I'm taking lead, and then you see a lot of stuff here. And there is a construct lead bin. So you can basically make a lot of stuff out of this, and it is worth noting that you sometimes need materials that can withstand magma for obvious reasons, or they will just melt away. So this is a very important workshop, and you might want to have a couple of them, if not more, so your production is running all the time. So this covers the basics about ore melting, creating bars, and making some armor and weapons. And I'm going to cover in my next tutorial a basic army setup by a popular request from someone in Canada. And if you have any questions, make sure that you are posting them below. And I hope it helped you a little bit.